Hey there. I just got to get a rant out. I went out yesterday for a day trip. I'd heard about restaurants opening up, defying Alberta Health Services orders, and allowing sit down service. And I really appreciate they're doing it. I went out to support them. I bought myself a couple of meals. I came home quite stuffed, just trying to make my point. Even if I wasn't hungry, I wanted to buy something. But of course, the social media pushback from some people against these desperate small business owners just it inspired me to I got to talk a little here. So people don't understand a lot of things, and it's funny because again it's the left who really seems to be eager to just crush all business. I guess that's not unusual for them, but they always claim to be there for the working man, for the little guy, for low income people. Well, that's exactly who all this is crushing. But again, the top voices in the left, though, particularly in Alberta, are unionized civil servants who are getting a salary to stay at home, or at least they're getting a salary to do whatever other jobs they're doing. So it's quite easy for them to say, just keep locking people up. And there was some clowns on Twitter even saying, you guys are criminals, and they were tagging police and saying, you should be charged for having eaten there. You're putting people at risk. You're going to kill people, and a bunch of just abject BS. And I'm just sick to death of it. And if people don't understand what's happening to these small businesses, these restaurants. So I owned a pub for 5 years. I just sold it last spring. Got out. Very fortunate timing. The new owners are still going at it. They're having a really hard time, but the locals have been supporting them as well as they can. Hopefully, they get through this nightmare. The restaurant business is a narrow margin business. You get that from the myopic left as well. Oh, if you can't afford to pay a living wage, you don't deserve to be in business. Oh, kiss my ass. You won't come out to a place that would charge the plate prices to pay this quote unquote living wage. It's a competitive business. You will move elsewhere. It's inelastic pricing. We have to keep it tight. And that means the margins. And you can go to Stats Canada and check this. Your average margin in a restaurant or bar in Canada is under 5%. These aren't rich fat cats, as you always like saying. This is very, very narrow. So when you beat on things, taking away sit-down service, as we have in restaurants and bars, they're not going to make money. Not at all. It doesn't matter about the loans, the subsidies, all of that. That's Band-Aids. It's been 11 months of on and off restrictions now. It's not enough. They're going broke. The little guys are going broke. The big guys are doing fine. Amazon's exploding. People are pointing out the double standard, and that's what's frustrating to these restaurant owners as well. You can go to a crowded Walmart. You can go to a Costco. You can go to all these different places and it's crowded, it's packed, people are moving around. But somehow, small business restaurants find it impossible to open safely. How is it that they're so much more dangerous than other places? So, like this is a picture here of the Noble Fox. It's a Mexican restaurant in Bashaw I went to, and that was after going to the Whistle Stop above, which is in Mirror. So these are kind of east of Red Deer here. And the police visited him, and these are criminals. They're being treated like, don't worry, you Twitter warriors, you. The police are following through and trying to crack down on these monsters, and you open the door, there was a stand there. There was, directed seating. The tables were spread out. There were masks provided if people didn't have their own. There's hand sanitizer. They're doing everything that all the big businesses are doing. But somehow they're criminals. These guys, try to put yourself in their shoes, okay? They're in small towns. They don't have skip the dishes and these other things, which again, these are just Band-Aids. You barely make any money on them. You got to sell liquor to make money. You've got to have people sitting down to make money. Takeout is just a supplement at best. So if you owned one of these little restaurants and you've been on and off for 11 months now, you're risking losing your house. I mean, these people are leveraged, your mortgage, your lifetime. Restaurant ownership isn't an area to get rich. It's a passion. I discovered it in 5 years of doing it. It's a saying I like using all the time. It's the most work for the least amount of money I ever did. We made money, but not a heck of a lot. And boy, I had to put the hours in, which is fine. I chose to. But you've got to understand that these people put their heart and soul into these places, and they're being crushed. They're being wiped out. And all you are going to have are big chain restaurants soon. You're going to have nothing but the heavyweights who can take advantage of economies of scale. These little places that you love with character and personal service, and that service places like small towns where the sales are lower and they really need to keep rolling, they're going to be gone. And for what? Who's being protected, really? We've seen no evidence of mass infections coming from sit-down service in restaurants. This selective shutdown crap is unjustified. It's not saving any lives. It's just crushing lives. And it's got to stop. So no, these restaurant owners, they aren't crazed politicos or things like that. These are desperate people with their backs against the wall. And we're going to see more of them. Because what do they got to lose? Are you going to threaten them with fines? They're going bankrupt. They're going to lose their homes. They don't care anymore. They're going to open, and you can fine the heck out of them. Throw them in jail. That'll really accomplish something. We can't seem to keep our violent criminals in there, but maybe we'll just keep these restaurant owners in there. Meanwhile, the rest of the province is celebrating because the luxurious Jasper Park Lodge has been booked for, 3 solid months, the entire lodge, for the filming of The Bachelorette. Oh, good. So, a celebration of this gross voyeuristic promiscuity. And hey, I'm not a pearl clutcher. If that's what you like on TV, go for it. But somehow that's safe. That's okay. That's something to make headlines. But this fella, this immigrant is, for example, at the Noble Fox from El Salvador, who's trying to make a life for himself in Canada, and who's being crushed with his little restaurant called the Noble Fox, is the criminal we're supposed to crack down on. This is how we're going to save Alberta, by crushing these small businesses that are daring to open up in defiance of a misplaced, ineffective health order that's trying to stop something that's, as far as we can tell, having absolutely no effect on it. Guys, get real, okay? You're crushing people. You're destroying them. It's got to stop. It's not doing anything to stop infections. It's just stopping commerce, and it's ruining people. And I just had to get that out. Please use a little bit of understanding before calling these guys rogue criminals and arseholes and whatever else you want to call them, you fools. They have their backs against the wall, even if you don't understand it.